Have you ever met a woman, not particularly young in age, but when she walks into a room, time seems to slow down? Not because of her beauty according to societal standards, not because of her clothing, hairstyle, or wrinkle-free skin, but because of her aura. Her eyes are unhurried. Her smile carries no burden of life. Her voice is deep, yet gentle. Her presence unconsciously relaxes the person opposite her. And you realize, this woman is not old. Youth is not the absence of wrinkles, but the absence of the weight of time in one's mind. Paramahansa Yogananda once pointed out a very subtle fact that most people overlook. People don't age because their bodies weaken. People age because their minds believe they are aging. In ancient Indian wisdom, age is not measured by years and months, but by the degree to which you assimilate with time. When you live in memory, I used to be like this. At this age, I'm not the same now. Time begins to erode your life energy. But when you live in present awareness, time loses its power. Why is this topic about women? Because, according to Yogananda, enlightened femininity possesses a natural ability, the ability to be in the present moment without effort. Women, before being deeply socialized, before having to strain to prove themselves, after losing their inner softness, connect with life, not with the schedule of time. And it is this connection that creates a very special phenomenon. The body reflects consciousness, a conscious awareness of not aging, a body that doesn't age quickly. This article isn't for everyone. I'm telling you this very clearly. If you only want beauty secrets, anti-aging formulas, this article isn't for you. But if you are on the path of mindfulness, feeling that your body reacts strongly to emotions and thoughts, wanting to understand why some people become lighter, younger, and freer the longer they live, then this article is for you. We won't talk about how to stay young, but rather how to avoid living in a state that makes you age faster, when time is just a habit of the mind. I want you to read this slowly to realize something very profound about yourself. You are never old. What is aging is only a concept you have learned to believe. Age does not exist in the soul. In the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, there is a recurring principle. The soul has no age. Time exists only in the mind connected to the body. When you say, I am 30 years old, I am 40 years old, you are talking about the body, not about the essence. But the problem is, most people live as if they are the body. And when you believe that you are the body, you begin to count time, compare, fear. That's the mechanism of mental aging. Where does aging begin? Not from cells, not from hormones, not from genes. According to Yogananda, aging begins with the stories you repeat about yourself. For example, I'm not as quick-witted as I used to be. I no longer have choices. At this age, I have to accept it. Each such statement is a command sent down to the cells. Cells don't analyze right and wrong. Cells obey consciousness. Why do many women look younger than their age? Not because they fight aging better. but because they are less attuned to time. They don't dwell too much on the past, don't live with regrets, don't confine themselves to rigid social roles. They live instead of counting their time. Yogananda once emphasized, when the mind is in the flow of life, bioenergy is constantly regenerated. That is why people with a lot of anxiety age quickly. People with a lot of fear age quickly. People with many roles age quickly. 3 levels of youth you need to distinguish. Biological youth depends on the body, hormones, and environment. Energetic youth depends on emotions, breath, and the flow of prana. Spiritual youth depends on how well you live in the present moment. Women who look younger than their age usually don't try to hold on to level 1, but live deeply in level 3. And level 3 pulls down levels 2 and 1. When you don't live in time, time can't touch you. This is a key point. When you don't compare yourself to a younger version, don't fear loss, don't try to cling. You enter a state of timelessness, and that is the state of deep meditation, of genuine prayer, of women who never age. Pause here for a moment, breathe, and ask yourself, is it not age that is tiring me, but the fact that I am carrying too much time in my mind? Special spiritual quality, living in the pure present. I want to tell you a very simple yet difficult truth. No one grows old in the present. People only grow old in their memories and anxieties. If you can look straight at this, you will understand why women look younger than their age. Not because they know how to preserve their age, but because they don't live in time. The present is where age does not exist. According to the wisdom of Paramahansa Yogananda, the present is not a moment in time, but a state of consciousness. In the pure present, there is no past to regret. There is no future to fear. There is no I to protect. And when there is no I to protect, there is no inner tension. Do you realize? The deepest wrinkles don't come from the sun or the years, but from inner contraction. Women who stay young have a very strange ability. They are fully present. I have observed many such women. When they drink tea, they truly drink tea. Listen to you speak, they truly listen. Be silent, they truly remain silent. They don't live simultaneously in a haunting past, a worrying future, a neglected present. They are here and observe joy without clinging to it. This is extremely high wisdom, but it is expressed outwardly with gentleness. Why does living in the present moment keep the body young? Because the body only ages when it experiences prolonged stress. Where does stress come from? From living in a place where one is not present. From the mind going ahead or returning to the past. From resisting what is. When you live in the pure present moment, your breath is deeper. Your nervous system calms down. Life energy, prana, flows naturally. Yogananda teaches that prana flow cells are regenerated. Prana blockage cells degenerate. The present moment is the clearest path for prana. The present moment is not a technique, it is letting go. I need to make this clear to you. Living in the present moment is not reminding yourself to be here, forcing yourself to be mindful, trying to concentrate. That is still an effort of the ego. Living in the present moment is not resisting what is happening, not adding stories to the experience, not judging yourself. When you stop adding, the present moment appears spontaneously, and there is no age. A woman who lives in the present moment is not in a hurry with time. She doesn't rush to prove anything, doesn't fear being left behind, doesn't compare herself to anyone. She understands, though she may not say it aloud. Life doesn't go anywhere. Only the mind is running. When the mind stops, life remains still in its eternal youth. Before moving on to the next section, I want you to ask yourself a very honest question. Am I living in the present, or am I living in the story of my life? Pure emotional wisdom. No storage of resentment or suffering. If the present moment were ageless, then trapped emotions would be the deepest root of aging. And here, Paramahansa Yogananda goes straight to a truth that very few people want to face. There is no harmless emotion when it is not released. Stocked up emotions are time frozen in the body. Understand this correctly. Every time you swallow anger, suppress sadness, keep hurt unseen, you are freezing time in your cells. The body doesn't forget. Emotions don't disappear just because you are strong. They remain, and these manifest outwardly as unexplained fatigue, a tense face, heavy eyes, a body that ages faster than its age. Women who stay young are not because they don't suffer, but because they don't carry suffering for too long. This is an extremely subtle difference. Sad allow sadness. Anger acknowledge anger. Hurt don't deny it. But they don't build houses in emotions. Yogananda teaches that emotions only become karma when you identify yourself with them. Women who stay young feel deeply, but they don't become those emotions. Resentment is the fastest form of aging. I say this not to judge, but to awaken you. Resentment constricts the heart, stiffens the face, cutting off the flow of life energy. People who harbor resentment for a long time, even if young look old, even if beautiful lose their radiance, not because they are ugly, but because their energy field is closed. What is pure emotional intelligence? It's not always being positive, always forgiving immediately, always being noble. That's still coercion. Pure emotional intelligence is being honest with your emotions, not judging yourself, not rehashing painful stories. You allow emotions to pass through, like clouds passing through the sky. The sky doesn't age because of clouds. Only those who think of themselves as clouds get tired. Why do women have this ability more strongly? According to ancient Indian wisdom, femininity is linked to flow. Masculinity is linked to structure. When women are not overly socialized, they naturally Release emotions quickly. Cry and then stop. Sadness and then let go. That is the natural mechanism of self-rejuvenation. When the flow is unobstructed, life energy is always fresh. When you don't hoard emotions, your body becomes lighter. And when the body is light, the face softens, the eyes brighten, a youthful aura emerges effortlessly. That is why true youth cannot be faked. It is the result of an unburdened inner self. Stop here. Take a deep breath. And ask yourself, without answering anyone, are there any emotions I am carrying just because I haven't allowed them to leave? Unconditional love and the energy of youth. If I had to point to a single factor that keeps people young over time, I wouldn't talk about meditation. I wouldn't talk about diet. I wouldn't talk about discipline. I would talk about love, but not the kind of love you're thinking of. Conditional love makes people age. Look deeper. Conditional love needs reciprocation, fear of abandonment, fear of loss. Each fear is a contracting force, and prolonged contraction, the body remembers. Yogananda teaches that love tied to fear is no longer love, but an energy dependence. Women who stay young love without clinging. They love but don't lose themselves. Giving without depleting. Being attached but not dependent. This doesn't come from technique, but from inner fullness. When you are full, you don't cling. You don't demand. You don't worry about losing. And when you don't worry about losing, life energy is always open. Unconditional love is the highest vibrational state. According to the universal principles taught by Yogananda, each emotion has a frequency. Unconditional love vibrates at the highest level. Where the vibration is high, life regenerates fastest. When you live in unconditional love, the heart is open.